Hey everyone, I'm Craven, and it's great to have you join me for another episode in our Unreal Engine 5 no-code VR authoring platform tutorial series. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting tools you can purchase from the marketplace, the Narrative, Quest, and Dialogue Editor. Not long ago, cinematic dialogue and branching quests were features you'd only find in big-budget games from massive studios. But thanks to Reubs and his incredible work on the Narrative plugin, those storytelling superpowers are now available to everyone, even if you're just starting out. With Narrative, you can build rich, interactive missions and dialogue systems without writing a single line of code. Here's what we'll cover in this tutorial: how to use the Quest and Dialogue editors to create your own story-driven experiences, how to record custom voice lines, how to create custom events, like teleporting the player when a specific line is spoken, and even how to use ChatGPT to help you write immersive branching dialogue scripts. By the end of this session, you'll have the tools and confidence to build any quest or dialogue you can imagine. If you're looking for deeper documentation or want to explore more advanced features, I highly recommend checking out Reubs' channel, linked in the description below. He's got a treasure trove of tutorials that'll take your narrative skills to the next level. Alright, let's jump in and start building some unique stories. Let's get started building your first dialogue in Unreal Engine using the Narrative plugin. First, head over to your content browser and open the Narrative folder. Inside, create a new folder to organize your scenarios, quests, and dialogue files. Keeping things tidy from the start will make your workflow much smoother down the line. Now, inside that new folder, let's create our first dialogue blueprint. Right-click, go to the Narrative tab, and select Dialogue. This will generate the file that holds all your dialogue content. For naming, I recommend using a clear convention like db_ your scenario name. It helps keep things organized, especially as your project grows. Dialogue blueprints work just like any other blueprint in Unreal, but they come with a special dialogue editor window. Once you've named your file, open it up and click on the Dialogue Graph tab in the top left corner. Next, click on Class Defaults in the top left. Here you can assign a name to your player character under Speaker Name. You can also add more speakers. Just hit the Add button next to the index field. This lets you introduce non-playable characters into your dialogue. You can customize each of them by giving them a name and choosing a unique node color to keep things visually clear. A pro tip: leave your starting node empty. I'll explain more about why later, but in general, empty nodes are skipped during playback, which can be useful for structuring your dialogue flow. Now let's add a line of dialogue. Drag off from the starting point and choose which character should speak first. Then, in the Details panel, type in the dialogue text. Once you've entered it, the node will update to display the text visually. Since I already have a rough idea of how my script will flow, I'm going to go ahead and create a few more dialogue nodes to build out the conversation. Here's another handy trick. Click the Compact View button to shrink your nodes. This helps keep your workspace neat and easy to navigate. Remember how I mentioned leaving the root node empty? The same goes for checkpoints. I created a character named System and used their nodes as checkpoints throughout the dialogue. These are left blank for now so we can loop back to them later when needed. Let's talk about adding player dialogue options. Start by dragging off from the previous dialogue node. You'll be adding a player response node. The process is the same. Type your playable character's dialogue into the text section of the node. Now, here's where things get interesting. You'll also see fields for option text and hint text. These are shorter versions of your full dialogue line. Think of them as preview snippets that show up in the player's choice menu. Once the player selects an option, the full line will appear in the subtitles, and you can pair it with a voice recording for added immersion. You're also not limited to just one response. You can give the player multiple choices, each leading to a different outcome or conversation path. This opens the door to dynamic storytelling and replayability. I'm going to keep building out my script now, so feel free to follow along. Watch how I structure the dialogue and try creating your own basic conversation between a few characters. It's a great way to get hands-on and start experimenting with interactive storytelling. Let's revisit those empty system nodes we talked about earlier. Leaving them blank wasn't just for no reason, it's a useful technique. Think of these nodes as checkpoints in your dialogue flow. Here's what I mean. Take a look at how I'm connecting the final dialogue node in this path back to the start of a system node. By doing this, we're creating a loop that brings the player back to a previous point in the conversation. This gives them the chance to explore a different dialogue option or make a new choice. It's a simple trick, but incredibly useful for building non-linear, interactive conversations that feel dynamic and responsive. Let's talk about conditions in narrative. Imagine you've built a dialogue path that loops back to a set of 3 choices. Now, say you want to hide the path the player already took, so only the 2 remaining options are visible. Good news? It's super easy to set up. Start by selecting the player's initial choice node. In the Details panel, scroll to the bottom right and click the Add button next to Conditions. From the drop-down, choose Has Dialogue Node Played and expand it to reveal its settings. Next, scroll to the top of the Details panel for the node you're working with and copy its node ID. Paste that ID into the node ID field under your condition. Then, make sure to check the Not box. This tells the system, only show this option if the node hasn't been played yet. Once the player selects it and loops back, that choice will disappear, keeping the dialogue clean and dynamic. As an extra precaution, I like to add a second condition to the same node. This time, I use the node ID from the final node in the dialogue path and also check the Not box. It's a bit redundant, but I find it helpful to have a backup condition in case something unexpected happens. This setup keeps your dialogue system smart, responsive, and immersive, just the way players like it. I'm going to keep building out my example script now, so feel free to follow along as I go. Watch how I structure the dialogue, and if you're feeling inspired, try creating your own conversation between characters. It's a great way to get hands-on and start experimenting with the tools yourself. Now we're back to adding conditions to the player's dialogue node, this time to make sure it disappears once it's been selected. This helps keep the conversation clean and dynamic, so players don't see the same option twice. It's a simple step, but it goes a long way in creating a more immersive experience. Now we're applying the same setup to the third dialogue path. Just like before, we're adding conditions to ensure this option disappears once the player selects it. This keeps the conversation clean and prevents repeated choices from showing up again. Let's walk through how to add voice lines to your dialogue nodes. To start, select the dialogue node you want to add audio to. In the Details panel, look for the dialogue sound input. Click the drop-down menu, and you'll see a list of all the .wave audio files currently in your project. These are the files you can assign to that node. If you don't already have recording software installed, there's a great free tool on a website called Online Voice Recorder. It's simple and quick to use. Here's how. Make sure your browser has permission to access your microphone. Check that the correct microphone is selected. Click the big red recording button and start speaking. When you're done, hit the same button to stop, then click Save to download your recording. Your recording will download as an .mp3 file, but Unreal Engine prefers .wave, so you'll need to convert it. A site for that is Cloud Convert's MP3 to Wave tool. Just upload your .mp3, click on Convert, and download the new .wave file once it's ready. Let's walk through how to import your audio files into Unreal Engine. Start by opening your content browser, then navigate to your narrative folder. Inside, go to the folder you created for your scenario, and let's make a new subfolder specifically for your audio recordings. This helps keep everything organized. Once that folder's ready, open it up. Now you can either drag and drop your .wave files directly from your Downloads folder into the content browser, or right-click inside the browser and choose Import to bring them in manually. To rename an audio file, just press F2 or right-click the file and select Rename. Giving your files clear, descriptive names will make things easier as your project grows. Finally, don't forget to hit Save All in the top left corner to lock in your changes. Head back into your dialogue file, and inside the dialogue graph, select the node that matches the line you recorded. In the Details panel, look for the dialogue sound dropdown. Click it, and you'll see a list of all the .wave files in your project. Just choose the one you want to assign. And that's it. Now, whenever that dialogue node is triggered, your audio will play right alongside it, adding a whole new layer of immersion to your scene. Here's a handy feature you might not have noticed: auto-select. When you click on one of your player's dialogue nodes, look for the auto-select option in the Details panel. If you check that box, it tells the system to automatically choose that dialogue line over any others available at that moment. This is especially useful when you want to guide the player down a specific path first, maybe to introduce a key concept or set the tone, before giving them more freedom to explore other choices. It's a subtle tool, but it can really help shape the flow of your narrative. Let's walk through how to set up a simple quest for your scenario using the Narrative plugin. Start by heading into your content browser, right-clicking, and navigating to Narrative and then Quest. This will create a new quest blueprint. For naming, I'm calling mine QB_DS_location1, where QB stands for Quest Blueprint, DS are the initials of my scenario title, and location 1 describes the type of quest. Once you've named it, go ahead and open it up. Inside the quest graph, drag off from the default node and choose Go to Location. Unreal will automatically generate a node, but we're going to delete that one and instead drag off from the quest branch node. From there, select Succeed the quest. This sets up the basic flow. To customize your quest, click on your starting node and open the Details panel. Here, you can set the quest ID, write a description, and define other basic info. Next, select the Quest Branch node and check out its settings in the Details panel. Expand the Go to Location section. You'll be able to enter the coordinates for where you want the player to go in order to complete the quest. Just below that, you'll find the Distance Tolerance setting, which lets you define how close the player needs to be to the target location for the quest to succeed. A little wiggle room can make gameplay feel smoother. You can also give the location a name and update its description to help keep things organized and clear for the player. Now let's tie in some narrative. Click on the Quest State node and add a Begin Dialogue event. Expand the settings, then select the dialogue file you want to play when the quest begins. You can even specify the node ID to start the conversation at a particular point in your script. Want the quest to trigger from a specific dialogue line? Easy. Just select that dialogue node, scroll down to the Events section in the Details panel and add a Begin Quest event. Choose your quest file, and now the quest will launch as soon as that line is played. Let's explore how to teleport your player using a dialogue event. Say you want the player to move across the environment automatically, maybe to trigger a cutscene or guide them to a key location. You can make that happen right after a dialogue line is selected or finishes playing. Start by double-clicking the dialogue node where you want the teleport to occur. In the dialogue event graph, drag off from the event node and connect it to a set player character node. Next, drag off the blue pin on the set player character node and connect it to a get player character node. This ensures you're targeting the correct player in the scene. Now, on the other side of the set player character node, drag off and create a do once node. This makes sure the teleport only happens once. From the completed pin, add a delay node, set it to 2 seconds to give the dialogue a moment to finish before the teleport kicks in. After the delay, drag off and create a set actor location and rotation node. This is where you'll input the coordinates for the destination you want the player to teleport to. To finish it off, grab your player character variable from the left panel, drag it into the graph, and connect it to the target input on the set actor location and rotation node. This tells Unreal exactly who to move and where to move them. And just like that, your player will be seamlessly teleported as part of the dialogue flow, perfect for scripted events or guided storytelling moments. Want to write a scenario script but not sure where to begin? You're not alone. Even if you know your subject inside and out, creating an immersive dialogue with multiple characters and branching choices can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, I've got a simple method to help you get started. In this part of the tutorial, I'll show you how to create dynamic, character-driven dialogue using a little help from ChatGPT. Start by heading over to chatgpt.com. I've prepared a customizable prompt you can use to kickstart your scenario. It looks something like this. Create a short script involving insert number of characters that explores the topic of insert topic here. The scenario should be engaging, educational, and suitable for insert audience type, e.g., high school students, adult learners, etc. Each character should have a distinct personality and perspective that contributes to the discussion or conflict around the topic. The player will take the role of one character and be presented with 3 dialogue options at key decision points. Each option should lead to a different conversational path, revealing new insights or challenges. Include dialogue, setting, and a clear beginning, middle, and end. The tone should be insert tone, humorous, serious, dramatic, etc. And the script should encourage critical thinking, empathy, or reflection. Structure the experience to feel like a role-playing scenario with meaningful choices that influence the direction of the conversation. Just fill in the blanks with details relevant to your story, setting, character roles, tone, and any specific themes you want to explore. Once you run the prompt, ChatGPT will generate a script complete with character names, personalities, and unique dialogue tailored to your scenario. From there, you can easily transfer that content into your narrative dialogue file and start building out your scene. And that's a wrap for today's tutorial. I hope you found this session helpful and picked up some valuable insights on creating powerful interactive dialogue. Now it's your turn. Try building a conversation with multiple characters and branching choices. If you're feeling confident, experiment with events and conditions to make your dialogue even more dynamic. For more in-depth guidance, be sure to check out the Narrative Plugin Creator's YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description below. He's got a ton of detailed, well-explained videos that expand on everything we covered today. Up next, we're getting hands-on and diving into the fun part, building a custom environment from scratch. I'll guide you through each step and show you how I approach creating a level from the ground up, so you can follow along and make it your own. So get ready, and I'll see you in the next video.